Here at a car show.
Yeah, this is suburban music.
This is suburban?
Yeah.
Okay.
City folk listen to this.
This is what the city folk listen to. Indeed it is. Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to Talking Trucks.
I guess we need to change our theme music, huh?
We need to change our theme music.
Yeah, I
like
last week. We all have vote for last week.
I think that if you have Mr. Truck here, then there absolutely positively must be banjo music. I mean, right, Zach?
Well, no,
Banjo?
no, that's further east than I am.
Oh, come on.
I'm not a hillbilly, I'm a redneck. There's a big difference. You know, we all play different instruments.
I'm a city boy. As far as I'm concerned, a banjo is exactly what you need.
No, that's the guy where they make all the stills. You know, all those guys drinking that make you go blind whiskey.
They got hooch parlors.
Yeah.
I knew what that meant.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Sorry. Happy Thursday. It's snowing here in Colorado, by the way. So, yeah, we weren't expecting this exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm Kent with Mr. Truck.
And I'm Nathan, just with TFL and all the other guys. And Andre is out right now. He's getting a facelift, so he'll be back next week with a brand new face. He's going to look like George Clooney. George Clooney. He loves Clooney. And we've got a great show here. Quite a few questions, including our main question, which is about basically a forever truck. But before we get to that, let's talk about a little bit of news, and some of that has to do with you, my friend. I can't get over this chicken. I'm not used to the chicken being here.
Well, say hi to the chicken, man. He likes you, Nathan.
Okay,
you got him jumping up and down now.
Oh, yeah.
He raised right up when he saw you.
I'm so happy that the chicken likes having me around. Okay, so let's get to this. A little bit of Chevy news, guys. First of all, ready?
I'm ready.
Chevy Colorado, brand new grille.
Yes, and I think the tailgate looks a little different too.
I think they changed up the tailgate a little bit, and there's a little bit of trim here and there that they've changed, but for the most part, that's about it.
You know, that's what's cool about that is, you know, they took the ZR2 and used that one to bring it out. Like you think all that stuff is new, and it's just the grill. But you know, I like the grill. Actually, it looks a lot like the heavy duties if you looked at it.
Well, yeah, because
very
it's kind of that one bar thing going on.
Yeah, it's very similar to the heavy duty. So I guess they're really trying to push that look. And you know, too, what we did the Ike the other day, me and Andre, and we had the Custom. And the Custom has that regular grill, but it has that monochromatic bar that goes across there that says Chevrolet.
Yeah.
And I like that. That after the High Country, my favorite, then it's that one. And we had that one, and it looked pretty cool. So I'm getting used to that grill. And you know, that was a surprise going up the Ike.
That's the other part of the news is that you actually did go up the Ike in a Silverado 2500 with the gas.
With the 6.6 push rod, direct injection, yeah. And we were pulling the same weight we did with the diesel, 16,000. So you'll see results when that video comes out. It was quite exciting.
That is true, and the truck did make it back under its own power. In fact, we actually took that truck out and did a 0 to 60 with it, we being Andre. And that video just dropped today, so you can find that. I think it's on TFL Truck, or is that on now? Okay.
Well, that's
one of those
interesting.
channels.
That's got a 373 now. It used to have a 410. It was an optional thing, and now they're actually, and it's still a 6-speed. So you'll see the results because we talk about all that and how it did, and news is news. Now wait a minute, there's some other news.
Yes, there is. Okay, so the Chevy. Now a lot of you guys were asking in the past, when is Chevrolet or General Motors going to compete with Ford when it comes to the Raptor, right? And also with Ram TRX that's coming out. Well, there may be a clue. Today on TFLtruck.com, we just posted a story about the Chevy Silverado 1500. It's the Trail Boss with the big engine, but it's a race truck. Now, it's built to go into a stock class, and it has a lot of components that the current Chevy Colorado ZR2 has. So, in terms of the suspension and some of the other stuff that's underneath it, it shares that technology. Now, what does this mean? Well, it could mean possibly, if this goes well, and especially if it wins and you guys like it, maybe this will become a special Trail Boss version, and it'll be a little bit more competitive with the Raptor. Now, this is just a possibility, but check out the story. It's on TFL Truck, and see what you think about it. We want your feedback on this, guys.
Does it have a locker on the front axle?
I don't know about the front axle.
I'm so glad they put that 6.2 in there. You know, when they first came out, the new body style, all they had was a 5.3 in the Trail Boss, but the AT4 GMC had that 6.2. And I was so glad that they see that 6.2 is the engine people will want.
Oh, hell yeah.
And an off-road truck, so they did that.
Well, especially because you're not talking about an engine that's really that much, I mean, the efficiency difference between the two is negligible. and yet that 6.2 tows more, it hauls butt.
It flies, and it's a
Yeah.
10-speed automatic too on it. And actually, you can buy that 3-liter diesel for the same price, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Chevy's done a lot of the right things of these trucks in the last couple of years.
And they've done a lot of wrong things, but we're not going to cover that today. What we are going to do is we're going to cover some questions here. I'm going to read this one from Travis. This is our main question for today. I'm in the market for a full-size truck and looking to buy it next year. As a 30-year-old, that's what, like a quarter year? Okay. As a 30-year, sorry.
That's half.
I would like to, ideally like to find my forever truck if possible. I don't need the latest and greatest tech. Here's my list in order of favorites. So his top truck on this is the Nissan Titan Pro 4X. Don't yell. The next one is the Toyota Tundra SR5, and then number 3, the Ford F-150.
Now you look at the bottom paragraph, he says the Titan is his favorite.
Yep.
And then he says he doesn't know if Titan will be around 15 to 20 years. And he goes on about that. And he wants to know which full size for a lifetime. You know, I've had several trucks for 30 years. I'm old enough to say that I've had a few of those. I can only have 2 actually in my lifetime, but I've had several trucks at a time. But you know, that's very tricky. And I understand the worry of Titan and whether they're going to be around in a few years. That they dumped the XD, which was their big deal.
Well, they dumped the XD diesel. The
That's right,
regular
the XD
XD is
diesel.
still around.
But do you think they'll sell any of those without the diesel?
No, I don't think
I don't understand that logic at all. But and you know the thing. Okay, we'll go with both Japanese trucks. Of course, they're made here now, but they squat bad. So if you don't pull a trailer with them, I'm not in love with them. You'd have to modify some things, whether it's Sumo or Super Springs, whatever you got to do to them, because they will squat the most with the trailer, both the Titan and the Tundra.
Before you get into more on squat, hit the chicken.
Oh, hey, Luke, thank you.
Cool.
Luke says, I just got my first pickup truck, a 2019 Nissan Frontier Crew Cab long bed, and he got it as a $7,500 off the MSRP. Now, see, that's the thing. Now's the time to strike for the Frontier, which
sure.
I think is a great little truck.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. That's going to be around forever. That
Yeah, it's
truck
a
is.
solid little truck.
Yeah.
But see, Nissan is about to replace it with an all-new one. That is coming soon. And when they do, those prices are going to jump. So now would be a really good time to look. $7,500 off. That is significant. Oh,
Yeah. But I would
we got
wait
another
till,
one.
I would wait till they actually announce it.
Stop
touching my chicken.
Squeeze the chicken. Squeeze the.
But you know you got to find out when the Frontier is they're going to announce that new truck, because it still may be 5 years away.
Speaking of which,
Speaking of which, well, that's what Ronald mentioned here.
Oh,
and thank you for your thank you so much for your donation. He says the Nissan Frontier tells me everything to redesign. Can you add my name to the hood? Absolutely. And aloha from Hawaii, my friend.
That's awesome.
So real quick, we don't have a whole lot to announce. However, there's a whole bunch of stuff that did come out on in terms of rumors with the Nissan Frontier, and that is a 7-speed possible transmission. That's a big one that's out there.
Yeah, that's what
possibly
they
a 300 horsepower V6 engine. There's a crazy rumor about a 4-cylinder turbo. They're talking about still possibly putting out a diesel, which, by the way, Roman got a chance to drive a prototype diesel Nissan Frontier about 5 years ago, I guess it was. Midway
5 years ago.
I know, it was the same Frontier that's out today, basically.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going on. Another part of the rumor is that they're going to have the same platform as the current Nissan Titan.
Yeah.
And it will, so a lot of the suspension bits will be the same or similar, so there's a lot of that going on. That's what we've got. We'll learn a lot more in the near future. Possibly Chicago.
Yeah,
they might be dropping something there.
That would make sense. Then he saw that his number one choice was the Titan. And the Titan 2020, they got a different look to it. It's got a new grille too, and it's got new headlights and a little bit of the tail light
But it's got a new transmission. That's really the big news.
Yeah, is it
9-speed?
It's a 9-speed. That's what I remember. I knew there was some 9-speed
Well,
floating
that
around
7-speed wasn't great. It was okay.
Yeah.
But it hunted a lot for years. Andre and I had problems with not problems, but we wished it was better in towing, and both of us had towed different loads.
Right.
But it was a solid truck. That 5.6 liter V8 is fantastic, and now, as long as you put premium fuel in it, higher output.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good looking truck. I actually like the small improvements that they made to the look of it. And he looked like he's got Pro 4X there, and then on the Tundra he's got SR5, which means he's also looking at the FX4 F-150 if he's looking at these off-road packages. And you know, from my experience with Tundra, especially in the SR5, they have even a lighter suspension, I guess, for more wheel travel, and they will really squat. And they've always squatted, and you know they have some things like that. And the Titan squats. The Ford, if you have the max tow package, wow, where money's rolling in.
Yeah.
Edgar Gunsman.
Guzman. Would the F-150 be out of the question due to the long-standing issues with their vacuum-operated hubs? Oh, that's a good one for you. Dealerships have TSBs over 10 years on this. Now, I have not heard about this with their vacuum hubs.
I thought they went to an electric hub. Because,
that's what I thought too.
Yeah, because
maybe he's talking about the older ones.
See, Ram did that too. They went away from having that, and then they had to go back to it just because of the difference in fuel mileage. So, and actually, as a coincidence, my F-150 is in the shop right now. Check engine light came on.
Oh no!
and
I thought that you were going to suggest the F-150 for a long-term truck.
I mean, this is a small problem. It's a phaser out on the cam, and it's making it retarded. So I got a retarded truck right now. But that's it's in the shop. They gave me a loaner. I'm happy. We'll see if they get it fixed, and I don't have another problem. But very seldom do I have a problem. So I'm not going to downplay them over this. And you know the light. They tell me if the light doesn't flash, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So
but I pulled 12,800 not too long ago. So I says, "Can I do that?" He goes, "No, wait on that." So then the light went out. So I did it. So now the light's back on. But anyway, they're going to fix it this time. I know what it is. It's a cam phaser. But
well, I'll tell you what I'm going to say. Only based on just as a personal thing, the Toyota Tundra is one of the most reliable trucks that's currently being built. Now, not only did the 4.7 have a couple million-mile trucks that have made it, and the 5.7 now has at least one that made it past 1 million miles. Because, yes, towing and all that, the Ford is superior, but in terms of just reliability and also resale, those Toyota Tundras really are solid.
But he's keeping it 20 years. He doesn't give a shoot about resale.
Well, 30 years maybe.
Okay, 30 years. Resale is not part of the equation. But if he's going to tow a trailer, I mean, the F-150 with the max tow package, it's not going to squat a whole lot. And, you know, it's those three, it gets the best fuel mileage. I mean, I'm getting 23
I agree. Highway. That's the one thing about the Tundra, it gets crap mileage.
Yeah, and that 430 rear end. I can't believe they still have that 430 rear end.
I don't know why.
It's great for towing, but it's not made for fuel mileage. Yeah, they should have another option, but they don't. Maybe whenever they make a new one, another 10 years.
It's supposed to be coming out soon. Hey, squeeze the chicken.
Holy cow. Roberto Rodriguez.
He has a 2004 5.4-liter Expedition with 221,000 miles. That's pretty damn good. And those Expeditions are solid trucks.
With the exception of that 5.4-liter V8.
With the exception, well, he got 221,000 miles.
Yeah, but have you heard all the horror stories with
There's
that
quite
Triton
a few.
V8?
It's the Triton V8, right? Yeah. Actually, there's been a lot with the intake. There's been some stuff going on with some sort of cam issue.
The 4.6 was what they had in those police cars, and a lot of them went 1 million miles. But that's what I'm saying. I don't think that Toyota's the only one that has 1 million mile engines out there. I think there's quite a few people that have done. I mean, Ram, that was normal at the Cummins. That's different. That's a diesel. But yeah, I know a lot of people that have those super high miles on their engines. But to me, 200,000 miles, that is, to me, normal for a gas engine.
Yeah.
And a diesel, I'm not so sure you can get 200. I mean, you'll have some injector issues of other things on your diesels. As much people love their diesels. I mean, they get better fuel mileage and all that, but I'm not so sure that they're going to live a lot longer than a gas. So I think
now you're talking about the smaller displacement ones, right?
No, I'm talking about the big ones.
You're talking about the big ones, huh?
We'll talk to Andre. He did injectors at 130,000. I think I had injectors on my Ford 130.
Yeah, but
this
was
a Duramax.
In this thing,
well, I don't know. I tell you what, these gas engines, and that's why I think the 7.3 and maybe the 6.6 in Chevy are going to do well, because they are getting a longer life out of those engines. And you may not have to spend the 10 grand to get the diesel, unless you have to pull trailers all the time.
Well, this goes back to my point about the 5.7 that you can get. I know the 4.7 is no longer being made, but the 5.7 and that Tundra, it's a solid engine.
Well, it is. There's nothing wrong with it, and I just wish I got better fuel mileage.
Yeah,
and,
I agree 100% there.
That one squats the worst of any of the trucks out there, I think, right now. If you're not towing trailers, who cares? I mean, just don't throw too many mother-in-laws in the back.
Air ride suspension, flip a switch and everything's fine.
Yes, Ram has proven that. It doesn't matter how much squat you have. If you have air that lifts you back up,
you're fine.
It's actually, I would wish they would all try something like that air suspension.
All right. Hey, Zach, I'm going to skip ahead to Patrick. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we're revisiting the question.
We're revisiting the question. It's important that we answer this question. Patrick had a really good, legitimate question. And here it is. And once again, we tried to address it before, and we didn't quite get there, so we're going to hit it this time. His question is, with all the upping of horsepower and torque and greater towing capability, is the rest of the truck keeping up? Are they upgrading the brakes, the calipers, the frame, and all that other stuff? And I think that's actually a really good question. Yeah, we're not talking about towing. We're just talking about the truck itself.
Well, you know, I had the same feeling because I went to all these auto shows and I asked some of the big engineers. I says, wait a minute, now you're towing 35,000 pounds. Is it the same size tires? They still 10 ply? They go, yes. I go, same size brakes? Yes, because it's still fitting the same size rotor. So that's my question too, because that means if they're going to start towing 35,000, 37,000, they better have triple axle trailers with disc, electric over hydraulic, ABS on them.
Right.
Or they're going to run into me going down the road. But yeah, that's true. And I understand Andre and I talked about this, and he had a good point. Even on those trucks, they still have a 14,000 GVW. So the truck is still rated the same. It's just the towing the trailer has gone up, and the payload's gone up. But they have changed the frames. They have upgraded the frames. They have upgraded suspension. But I wish they would do more with the brakes. I wish they would do more with a few other things. But the frame and some of the other stuff has been increased.
It has.
You know, like Chevrolet put the giant fan in there, and so Ram did something like that too. The giant radiator. They keep doing those things to keep that engine cool, and that paid off. It's like we drove that 2020. 2500 Silverado with that big trailer. We never had a heating issue with anything, transmission or engine, and that was 11,000 feet, 7% grade, 8 miles of that. And so they're working on that. I do think that somehow we need to have a form to where that if you're going to pull that kind of weight, you better know what kind of trailer you have and your capability there, because if you can't stop that trailer, that truck may not be able to do the whole thing.
But the other thing is also more power, more torque. I mean, think about your EcoBoost. The amount of power and torque that you're producing compared to 20 years ago, when a truck that size was putting out half the power and half the torque.
Oh, sure.
I mean, that's significant. So in answer to that question, actually the answer is yes to a certain degree, because now a lot of trucks come in with four-wheel disc brakes, and they're much larger. If you recall, I remember from the 70s and the 80s, the early Chevys with this disc brakes, I mean, those things were small. Those things could go on a car.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, they're massive by comparison. And I think part of that has to do with the fact trucks weigh more, they have more power, they have more torque, and so you need to be able to stop these things. They're coming with larger wheels and tires. And remember, when you get larger wheels, as cool as they look, that's more rotational mass going through there.
Well, yeah, that is all true on the half-ton class, on the light duty. Not true on the heavy duties.
Right.
Like my truck, yeah, I've got 20-inch wheels, and that's part of the package I had to get to where I could tow 12,800. But you look at these big dualies now that are rated to 35,000. They're still all, except for the 450, that's a 19.5 wheel, and that is 12 ply. All the rest of the dualies are right at 17. They're still 17. They were 17 8 years ago. They're still 17. All that's the same. So that was what worries me. I thought they would go to a 12 ply tire or go to a bigger wheel, but they can't get that much mass in those duals. There's a whole bunch of other reasons why they can't put that in there, but I think they need bigger brakes. I think they need bigger tires. I think they need thicker tires. All that stuff. I mean, you know, on the diesel, you got the exhaust brake helping you. On all of them, you have your tow haul mode, you have some grade shifting with your transmission, and they're improving that. So they're doing a lot of their improvements on the diesels, which those big numbers are.
Right.
So I could say that, you know, on the diesels and the heavy duty, there's some things there, but not on the wheels and tires. So, you know, you're transferring it all to the brake and some of it to the suspension. But I notice now the trucks with those bigger weights, they're squatting more with 35,000 pounds than they used to at, say, you know, 23,000, like in Chevy's case. They jumped from 23,000 clear up to 35,500 in one frickin' year.
Okay, so to summarize what Patrick is saying, we can say that half-ton trucks, for the most part, yes. They are, a lot of them are upgraded to handle that.
Yes,
but the heavy-duty trucks, not so much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, I think we can kind of say that, and I think it's, you know, a fair thing. You got anything to add to that, boss?
To go back to the previous question for a minute, several people in the comments are suggesting an early 90s Chevy 1500 truck for forever truck. You do see a lot of them around still.
Oh, well, yeah. There
are a couple comments that
the 454 is the way to go. Yeah, the square bodies. And
yeah, they used oil, and that was normal. That for the 460, for the 454. But but see, you know, trucks can last forever. If you want to rebuild it forever, my 1-ton 1977 Chevy dually, I mean, I probably put 2 engines, 2 rear ends, a different transmission, several clutches. I mean, yeah, you can rebuild these trucks forever, just like semis. Oh yeah, we got
Squeeze your chicken.
Ronald.
Okay, so Ronald has a great question. What's the difference between the Nissan Frontier versus the Nissan Navara platform? They are different platforms. From what I was told, the Navara platform is not quite as thick and beefy as the one that's on the Nissan Frontier. Part of that has to do with towing requirements in the United States versus Europe and overseas. Part of that has to do with the suspension setup. And bear in mind that the old Nissan, well, the current Nissan Frontier, a lot of the platform that it has, a lot of that frame is actually based on the original Nissan Titan. So they actually, yeah, they share a lot of components.
Wow.
Now, this new one hopefully will have the newer components and be a lighter, even more robust frame, but that's just speculation. So they are different frames. The Nissan Navara is actually very different than the Frontier, even though their overall measurements are very similar. So yeah, great question. Thank you very much for your donation. We do appreciate that quite a bit.
Well, the door tags on the Navara, they're probably written Japanese, aren't they? Are they in German or what are they?
I would imagine they're in Polish.
Polish.
And Swahili.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because that is exactly.
I knew I couldn't read the door tags.
Okay, so let's go back to Anthony. Anthony had a question about, he says he has a 2018 Ram 2500. That's right up your territory. And he wants to go to Moab. What modifications would you recommend? Now,
well, you're in Moab every week.
I know,
What's
seriously.
You're out there a lot.
But no, but let's go right to the Ram 2500. There's a couple things you need to answer, which we don't have here. Is it a diesel? Is it a gas engine? That makes a big difference.
That's true.
I'm
Heavy
making
diesel.
the assumption that at the very least it's not a power wagon, which I'm showing behind you in Moab.
Well, that would be a good plan.
Talk about modifications to prepare the truck
to get into this.
Well, then just get a power wagon.
What else? No, but he already owns the truck. I mean, come on. It's easy to say just go and buy one.
I don't know if he has the Hemi or if he has the Cummins deal.
Okay. Well, if you have the Cummins, it's a heavier truck, but you have more torque, right? So one of the things that Ram has been telling us and telling us and telling us is that they do not want to put a diesel in one of these because they don't want to weigh it down more. Because it already weighs as much as the Queen Mary.
Well, yeah, but if he's got the 6.4 and an 8-speed, he can shift down. We do those power wagons, remember, they were like running 40-some miles an hour in low range.
Yeah.
They have all kinds of cool things. But anyway, yeah, back to that. But he has a locking four-wheel drive, not locking on the front, but he has a four-wheel drive.
Right.
So he's at least got 2 or 3 wheels moving. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that can help a lot, get that weight down like what you're talking about, and the locking rear end. I mean, if you may want to do a lift kit, I might suggest.
Well, and that's the thing is that, we don't know what truck you have, exactly what your things are, but here's the basics. If you're going to Moab, first of all, I highly recommend that you do not start with the heavy-duty obstacles first, even if you do have a beefed-up truck. Start small and work your way up. Get to know some of the people there who can look at your truck and go, oh, okay, yeah, you'll be fine. Do not go to places like, Wipeout Hill and whatnot and expect to survive if you have a truck that's lowered. So, here's what you should consider. Underbody armor after. Tires. Tires are the most important thing. And then suspension. And then if you're going to do that and add weight, you might want to beef up your brakes. Because believe it or not, you're going to need your brakes a lot. So, there's a lot of things to look at. Getting the locking rear diff, always a great idea in Moab, especially if you're going off season and it's wet.
Loading truck also suggested it's a really good idea, air compressor. So
yes.
You can air down and air up without issue.
Yeah, or air tanks if you really want to, and you want to have something that will really quickly air up your tires. But yeah, an air compressor is just always a good idea, even if you're not off-roading. Just to have a little tiny one, so you can pump up your tire. But absolutely. And then if you're going off-road, remember just bring all the safety kits. Make sure you don't go alone. All those types of things. There's so much to this. But I do recommend trying out Moab. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great dirt roads that have some light stuff. And I'll tell you what, send this back to info@tflcar.com, care of Nathan, and I'll give you a couple great trails to start out on. And by the way, we like using fins and things because it's fairly easy and basic. And if you do get stuck, you're pretty close to people who can pull you out. So,
well, hopefully he had this plan before he bought the truck. He may have the off-road package and give him some of that.
Right.
And it wouldn't be hard to add a lift and do the tires. So
yeah,
you're not that far away from having something that will go there.
Don't add a lot of crap to it, by the way. Don't add big bumpers, a winch, and heavy
running
stuff.
boards. I know you hate running boards.
I hate running boards. the bottom line is that you add more weight to the truck, it doesn't go as good off-road. That's just kind of a simple thing there.
Well, that's traction. It gives you traction having that weight.
Yeah.
Every time I ride
because
in the
you
vehicle,
want
the tires
10,000
don't
pounds
spin.
weighing on you as you're going up and over. And, yeah.
Yeah, I can weigh that truck down. Come pick me up. We'll go to Moab. I'll give you some traction.
Master Chief 143 also has a good suggestion. If you're going to air down, make sure you have LT rated tires.
Yes, absolutely.
They can take that kind of strain. So
Yeah, that's what
you don't want to pop a bead
That's
on the
what
trail.
Yeah, 2,500 would come with LTs.
Yeah, it should at least.
Yeah,
but if you're going to upgrade to a bigger tire, make sure that they are properly rated. And you know, the really good idea, by the way, is if you're going to use a 2,500 and you're going to go off-road, that's already a big, heavy truck. One of the things you may want to consider if you're doing this is bring extra fluids. You never know if you're going to chop up a pan or, you know, pop a hose or something like that. So just, you know, play it safe, okay? All right, let's move on.
What is this? Must be National Nissan Day. Look at this. Another Nissan question. Is that all we got today? Is Nissans?
Well, you know,
holy cow!
You got to. You know, this one's about an Armada.
Tell us how you really feel about Nissans. Ken.
Well, no, I don't have anything against Nissan. I'm just wondering. Is everybody worried about them to stop making this stuff? It's like, want to get them while they can before they disappear totally, because they're having trouble in the truck market. You know, they're last place on numbers. I mean, even Honda Ridgeline outsells them.
Yeah, nearly.
That's sad.
But with this new edition and some of the new things, one of the problems was they were the lowest in class in terms of the towing and payload and a lot of other things, and now they're right up there with a lot of the competitors, and that's really important. And you know, the bottom line is that they make a pickup truck that is decent, and they can sell it for a cheap.
Yeah, that Frontier kind of owns that part of the market. And
well, but we're talking about, you know, the bigger ones too.
Yeah,
the Frontier is going to be around. That as long as they don't screw up on the new one, and from everything I'm hearing, it sounds like they're really serious about building a good truck.
Oh, I like the looks of the 2020. Actually, it has a good look. When you stare at that grill, it looks like a T. The headlights look like that. So the refresh is good on this one. We'll see what they do. You know, last year all they could tell us about is new paint colors. So at least this year they have something more to talk about at the Texas State Fair of Texas, where we saw them.
Okay, so let's go to Kevin. I'll try to cover this question real quick. I currently own a 2008 Nissan Armada LE. I use this SUV to tow our 32-foot travel trailer that's about 7,000 pounds loaded. The deal is that he is at about 175 miles, and he's looking to replace it with a truck. 175,000 miles. Did I say 170? Sorry, guys. 175,000 miles. So he's put a lot of miles on this thing. And he's looking to replace it with a truck. He loves the engine and transmission on his SUV. I told you it has a good engine.
Yeah.
And he's thinking of getting a Titan.
I have nothing against the engine.
With the Pro 4X, or going for the Titan XD gas. Which would you recommend? I'm not a fan of the Ford EcoBoost or Ram. Now, hey, this is him, not me.
I know. But you know what?
Kevin, run.
Titan came out with an off-road package that the dealers have to install. Is it Ridge Rider anyway?
Oh, no. That's a long time ago.
No, it was at the work truck show I went to just a few
months
ago.
Oh, you're talking about the Titan XD with their...
It wasn't an XD, it would be on any of them, but it's a lift kit. You have the dealer install, you can put it on your payments, you can buy it from Nissan, and it's a lift kit, big tires and bars and all that. That just came out last January, so it's not that old, but I can't remember if it's called Ridge Rider. It was something like that. It was from a special off-road package, but you got it through your dealer, which always makes it nice. Maybe you get zero interest financing on it. I don't know, but that was cool.
Well, what he's asking about is should he go for the Titan Pro 4X or spring for the Titan XD gas? Because, you know, they no longer do the diesel with the XD.
Yeah, and see, I don't see the XD gas, why that has an advantage over the other one now that they're so similar.
Because, I mean, the axles are the same. It's just the frame that's different, right?
Yeah, there's the frame. The frame is off the van, and even the steering is different because on the regular Titan, it's rack and pinion, the nice, tight, quick steering. On the XD, it's recirculating ball like heavy duties have. So a little looser steering on them. So I'm not sure why I wouldn't buy an XD. Without the diesel, I would have no reason to buy
I'm with Kent on this. The XD has proven to be not that much of a springboard above a regular half-ton truck, and the thing is, you're losing efficiency, and you're not really gaining a lot.
Right, you lose some fuel mileage, and it doesn't have a full floating axle. The rear axle semi-floating like a half-ton.
Like it's the same exact one.
Only a frame and steering is different. So yeah,
I just don't understand that truck. I really don't.
Mark just pointed it out in the comments. It's Rocky Ridge.
Rocky Ridge.
Rocky Ridge.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. I'm sorry.
Like
I completely bring.
Yeah, you can get
one.
that financed with your truck. Was the cool thing about it. I saw that at that work truck show, but it was cool. So I mean, that's what I would say. Maybe if you really want to go off road, you want to do more than the Pro 4X. But I like the Pro 4X package. But I think this would be
it's a good package.
Yeah,
it's cool because you get the suspension, you get the all the metal underneath to help out, and also you get that locking rear diff.
Yeah,
and that's one of my favorite things. The fact that Toyota does not offer that on the Tundra drives me crazy.
I know, that makes no sense. Pro 4X with half the Pro 4X gone.
Right. Well, with Toyota, I mean, they do it on their Tacoma. Why the hell don't they do it on their big truck?
Right.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's just a that means that label, that Pro 4X is just marketing labels, all it is, and it's similar on the Sequoia. So why would they do that? Just like the fake hood scoops, why would they do that? I don't understand. But anyway.
Last question we're going to get to for today. And by the way, guys, thank you. Your comments have been awesome. I'm sorry we haven't gotten to too many of them, but this one's a cool one. Real quick from Tony. It's an email. He's asking, are you guys planning to do a 3-liter diesel drag race from the big 3?
I hope so.
Oh, hell yeah. When we get our hands on all 3, we will, because that's what we do.
Well, look how many years we've waited to get 3 diesel half-tons.
A long time.
I was excited about this like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And we waited and waited and waited, and here now I'm old and I'm sitting there like, who cares? But
well, here's the cool part. Well, it's going to be really tough because Andre's poor eyes are going to bulge out of his poor little head because he has to find a way to get 3 trucks that are sort of apples to apples. So they'll all have to be, hopefully, 4-wheel drive. All of them will have to hopefully be extra cab and all that. And it's really tough for us to wrangle 3 trucks that are the same from 3 different automakers at the same time, especially when they're the new half-ton diesels, because they're really popular right now and everybody else wants them. But TFL Truck and MrTruck.com, we are a big force to reckon with here in Colorado, in Boulder.
Oh, we're mean. We go after them. We bite them. Yeah, but that's so cool. This fall's going to be so interesting because that's when this would be.
Yep.
And we're going to do the heavy duties this fall.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be so busy. Of course, it's going to be snowing and colder than all hell.
Anyway. We deal with that all the time. Come on, we're Coloradans. We can handle that.
That's what we do.
You're born here. You were born.
I know. I was
born
with snow on my toes.
Yeah. You can handle it.
Me and
city boy, and I'm learning.
Wolves were really tough on me when I was a kid.
Hell yeah. So, yes, absolutely. We want to drag race them desperately, and we want to do a lot more. So, there you go, guys. Thank you. Remember, this video does turn into a regular video later on, and we're going to go back and hopefully answer a few more of your questions. Thank you guys so much for all of your great questions. This was fantastic.
About the patches and the coat. And
sure.
We got one guy's got to go. The Hawaiian's got to go in the hood. We know that.
Yeah, we're going to put. Thank you again, and we appreciate it. Yes, okay. So with your support, $10 will get you a sticker, $25 will get you one of these patches, $50 will get you a hat, and we will sign it if you ask. $200, $199 will get you a sweater with lots of logos all over it, but it's a cool hoodie sweater.
That would be cool to see all of our fans at SEMA with those hoodies on.
Hell yeah.
We have a hoodie party, man. I mean, so I'm standing by. If anybody wants to donate money, I can push this chicken anytime. I can hit him in the back of the head. I can do all this stuff.
Okay.
It's ready to go.
Ready to play us out, Zach? I think we're about ready to get going here, my friend. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to play this music, and hopefully for some reason the other thing is still playing, and I don't know why, Zach.
Did my volume go up? Do I need to
I'll get to that in a minute here. But okay, so once again, have a great week, guys. We're going to talk to you later.